It's the final round of the Low Fuel Motorsport season on Assetto Corsa Competizione, and this GT3 Sprint at Watkins Glen is shaping up to be the closest and most fiercely competitive race I've had in a long time. Just look how tight it is. I'm only 0.8 of a second off pole position, yet I find myself all the way down in P14. In fact, the top 16 are all separated by less than a second, so this one could be a real classic. Will it live up to the promise? Well, let's get down to the grid and find out. Here we go then for the very last time in the LFM season. It is go for 25 minutes at Watkins Glen, starting from P14, and as we approach T1, I'm under attack from two McLarens, both on the inside and the outside. And I thought I'd gone defensive enough to close off any gap on the inside, but Sergio Prados certainly found a way through in that number 3 McLaren. He gets past, as does Fabio Parigi around the outside. Oh, but there's contact between the two of them. Parigi has lost it and he slides right into the path of Manuel Ramos. Ramos was alongside me and I've managed to scrape through that one unharmed. Really lucky there. Oh, it's getting worse. Massive pile up right in front. I'm hard on the brakes to try and avoid getting collected, but it is no use. I've suffered not one but two big hits. Now I've managed to limp through that, but at what cost? Because already it feels like I've picked up some fairly significant damage. Let's go back and take another look at this. Starting with the incident between the two McLarens right in front of me that I just managed to avoid. That was Sergio Prados and Fabio Parigi getting physical. But that was merely the hors d'oeuvre, because the main course was served coming down the back straight. This was a huge wreck, and look at that. Artem Chibeskov in the red Ferrari getting hit from behind by Gordon Hazak, and then all hell breaks loose. And I was so close to getting through that unscathed, but then at the very last moment it looked like two McLarens sliding back across track, clobbering me. But yeah, watch the white McLaren of Gordon Hazak. He's right on the tail of Artem Chibeskov here, but I don't know why he tries to move around the outside there. Clearly there was going to be no space, and all it does is turn Chibeskov around and causes absolute mayhem. And while I may have been a bit luckier than many involved in this wreck, I didn't escape without picking up some substantial damage of my own. It wasn't bad enough to require a pit stop, but it was bad enough to slow me down by around 1 second per lap. And all that made for a pretty miserable race. I just didn't have the pace required to challenge anyone, so I limped around in a lonely 10th position. You can see from the classified results, my fastest lap in the race, a 1:46.7. Compare that to my 1:45.6 in qualifying, and you can see how off the pace I was. But I really did feel that there was a good race to be had here at Watkins Glen, so I'm back to give it one final try. This time I managed a 1:45.1 in qualifying, but it's still only good enough for P11. Once again, I'm within 0.7 of pole position, and I'm not even in the top 10. So this one is underway then. Will it go any better than the first race? Will I survive lap 1 without picking up any damage? Well, let's hope so as we approach T1. And I've got nobody on my inside at least this time, so that's a relief. But I'm going to hug the inside line through this first corner just to try and stay as safe as possible. It's been a pretty clean start. I'm happy with this so far. I did have Tom Michel in the Ferrari alongside me for a moment there, but he's tucked in behind me now to spare us both the stress of coming up through these S's side by side for the first time. Oh, big challenge from the Lexus in the rearview mirror. That is Joris Schnettberg, who is carrying so much more speed coming up over the brow of the hill. So I'm just going to back out and let the Lexus take that position. I'm certainly not worried about dropping a place or two at this stage if it means reducing the risk of a collision. However, Schnettberg was really offline going through the loop there, which has given me the chance to challenge around the outside and take the position back. But watch Schnettberg. Oh, he runs into the back of me. That pushes me offline into this left-hander. I'm trying to stop the rear from spinning around. There's a second hit and a third one. Schnettberg spins me right round, and now I'm a sitting duck. Oh, big hit. This is surely race over. Oh no, it's every bit as big a pile-up as we saw in race 1, and this time I am right in the centre of it. And yeah, my Lamborghini is going nowhere after that hit. So let's take another look at this one. Another race ruined in lap 1. And I was feeling pretty confident at this stage too. I just surrendered a position to Schnettberg, but I fought back around the outside of the outer loop. A good pass here, taking full advantage of the Lexus being offline through the chicane. However, here's the contact which sends me out wide. At this point, the rear started to step out. I've got a bit of oversteer that I tried to correct, but there's nothing I can do with the second and third hit from Schnettberg in the Lexus. Oh dear, look at that. A scene of devastation with me at the heart of it. Not what I wanted to see in this second race. Right, we're riding on board now with Schnettberg in the Lexus. And we're going to see him get just a little bit too close. Right there, that's the nudge that sends me out wide and starts my rear coming around. I was trying desperately to save it, but then the second and third hit gave me no chance. And then Schnettberg actually comes back across track and veers into the path of Miguel Brito in that black Ferrari. So Schnettberg ends up in the barrier as well. A secondary accident further down the straight. Oh, and I can hardly bear to watch it a third time. I've been nudged out wide at this point. If only I'd managed to stop the oversteer or stay out wide, maybe I could have avoided this. And I'm sure more than a few of you as well are screaming at me for not holding my brakes sooner. Well, believe it or not, it was actually a conscious decision not to. In the heat of battle, I knew that I'd spun right on the exit of a blind corner, so I thought by rolling backwards a bit, I may give the oncoming cars just a bit more of a chance to avoid me. Sadly, it wasn't to be, and Paul Denumpty drills me. Denumpty had no chance there. So yeah, full of regret over this incident. I'm just sorry to everybody else who was caught up on it. A lot of races were ruined there. Now, I spent more than 5 minutes in the pits, so by the time I came out, I was running in dead last and several laps behind the rest of the pack. I'm currently P24 out of 24, and all I can do is weave my way through the carnage when drivers in front spin out. Now, I am actually going to gain one position. Look at the leaderboard. Mark Hamilton has been disqualified. He sped in pit lane, and then he sped again while serving his drive-through penalty. So that is at least 1 place gained. I'm up into P23, but sadly, that's as good as it got. It was another miserable run. At least I'm not driving with damage this time. That all got repaired in the pits. However, I can't run at full speed here because every time I catch up with the cars ahead, I just don't want to get involved. This is their battle for 14th and 15th. I'm several laps down, so it wouldn't be the right thing to do to stick my nose in and try and unlap myself. So all I can do is hang back and then just wait for the mistakes and get past them. Sure enough, it came into the final corner. There's contact between my old mate Schnettberg and Milenko Jurcevic. But at least now I have a clear track in front of me once again. However, I've got no chance of gaining any more positions on track unless other drivers crash or DNF. But unfortunately that didn't happen as we watch a replay of Jurcevic's attempt at a pass on Schnettberg going into the final corner. But yeah, as I said, no other DNFs or crashes, so I had to settle for 23rd position. And if I thought race 1 was miserable, this one was as bad as it gets. I did at least manage to post a better fastest lap in this race, a 1:45.7, and from the looks of the leaderboard, that was probably quick enough to be challenging for a top 10, but of course, it wasn't to be. But we all have bad days, don't we? And this was one of them. Cheers for now.